I quit social media and it was the best decision of my life. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why it was the best decision of my life and how it impacted my whole life, my influences, just how I see myself, how my insecurities got a lot better, and just how everything got better once I quit social media. So a quick disclaimer, if you use social media on a daily basis and don't see like any negative effect on your life, I'm not telling you to stop using social media altogether. This is just my point of view and just how everything just helped me. You go and do whatever you want, right? I'm not telling you don't use social media. It's completely toxic.
Also, please remember that I am not an expert on the field.
This is just my opinion, so please keep that in mind and enjoy the video. So, social media, it's such an interesting topic, especially my generation, Gen Z, millennials as well, but like everything that's like Gen Z and like below, you're like kind of born with it. Although in my case, it was like I didn't make like an Instagram account, for example, until I was like 11 or 12, which is freaking crazy early, by the way. Then again, there's like 6-year-olds with an Instagram account these days. But that being said, I always was like a lurker on YouTube. Been watching YouTube since I was like a freaking like 8-year-old, man. I've been watching the old stuff like Smosh, the freaking cat videos, all that very old stuff, freaking Chocolate Rain, all the golden era of YouTube too. From an early age, I was using social media on a daily basis already. And this was before I just thought it was like normal, right? Back then, it really didn't impact me as much because I just enjoyed what I was watching, right? I was just a freaking kid. Like, of course, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be comparing myself to this specific person and comparing how I look or stuff like that. But again, YouTube back then was just like a lot of skits and stuff. It was great back then.
You wanna play? Let's play!
Fast forward a couple of years when I started using things like Instagram and Twitter like on a really consistent daily basis. It was very like influenced by like the group of people that I was like surrounded with. So that's like the main reason why I was using any of them, to be honest. But of course, me back then didn't know. Oh, I'm being like dragged into this by other people and other people's influences, and doing so affecting myself and my mental health because I'm not realizing how much it's affecting me in terms of my insecurities, in terms of my self-worth, etc, etc. It started getting a little bit exaggerated. Like I would say 15, 16, I was heavily using my phone, using social media, always on Instagram, always on YouTube. It was all I did. I did not do anything else but use YouTube or Instagram like mindlessly. Problem with this, first of all, of course, it's an addiction, right? Because I wasn't doing things that was healthy in my life because I was just going for like the YouTube and this Instagram instead of doing like more healthy things like exercising, for example, or picking up a hobby or something. Immediately after finishing my obligations, quote unquote, I guess, I was going to YouTube and going on, you know, just social media. The thing is, I didn't realize until on my recommended on YouTube, like way back then, dopamine and stuff. And I was instantly curious because I always thought of the social media period, I thought it was normal. Why? Because everyone else was doing it. When you're a lot younger, you're not thinking of, I'm going to go like against the current just because it's normal, it's not good for you. I didn't think that. And everyone was like, whoop-de-doo, so good and happy and stuff. Personally, I was like very like anxious. I had a lot of insecurities as well. So let's talk about why it made me insecure and why it might be making you insecure and you're not aware of it. So I remember in 2019 when I was like starting to like implement not using social media in my life, I stumbled across this video by Laura Medley talking about this specific thing about how toxic social media can be, how toxic it can be for your mental health, and how it can create so much insecurities about how you look, how you feel about yourself, how you identify as, just everything, how bad it can be if you're not aware of it, if you're not controlling it. I want to talk about that. First thing that social media really just does, that's horrible for you. I can't stress this enough. This is especially true on Instagram. Like how perfect everyone seems. You see everyone. You never see a single picture. Maybe if you're like on a Finsta or something, but if you're following like big accounts, like celebrities, or just people who have clout, quote unquote, most likely you're going to see pictures of them looking like incredible, perfect. You're not gonna see them looking like crusty or anything like I do right now. I look crusty as heck. You're gonna see people like super like, oh my god, look at this hashtag no filter without makeup. Oh my god, I look like a freaking goddess. And the reason why this creates insecurities is because you subconsciously start comparing yourself without you realizing to said picture, to said person. Why is this person so much prettier than me without makeup? And then you look at yourself in the mirror, or like literally even on your own phone. You look at yourself, why do I look like this and this person looks like that? It creates a lot of subconscious insecurities, but you're not aware of it. And then you start feeling anxious, and then you start like your self-worth just starts depleting, and then you don't understand why. I was someone like that because I didn't understand what was happening to me until I started researching about it. I put it into practice, I got results. I'm sharing that with you now. Again, back then, I was super insecure about myself. I had no self-confidence, no self-worth. It was horrible. If you saw my importance of perspective video, I just love comparing myself back then. It's a little bit better, still working on it, but back then it was like horrible. Constantly on Instagram and on YouTube, and now like TikTok, I was seeing these super young people be like successful and stuff, so I was like comparing myself. Why am I not in that position? Like, what is this person doing better than what I was doing? Very emphasized. This was all subconscious. It started creating this sense of worthlessness, if in a way, for no reason. You're seeing these people on the screen. You're not seeing their life in an objective point of view, if that makes any sense. How when they get sad in their ugly sides, you're only seeing what they decided to show. That can really consume you into thinking this person's life is perfect. So once I started realizing this, ironically watching videos about how it affects you, how the dopamine releases of using social media for an extended period of time affects you, how it can get you very sad. If it's like your main source of dopamine, if you don't have it with you, you start like your brain automatically just starts being like, oh, I need to like grab my phone, be using YouTube, I need to be looking at Instagram, because you feel like oh my god, I need this thing. And your brain is gonna be thinking that. It can be very destructive for your mental health. And because you're seeing so many people's opinions, so many people's influence, points of views, so many different thoughts, you start like taking those and maybe like implementing it for yourself. Hence the freaking name influencers. Their thoughts and what they say, how they act, influence other people. Depending on what you consume, if it's a lot of negative stuff, you're not gonna realize it, but your thoughts are just automatically going to be a lot more negative without you even like knowing, oh, I'm just like this and stuff like that. That's what happened to me. Social media and like the news in general it's just filled with negativity. It's all over the place. You wanna look for positivity, you're gonna have to like look for that. Negativity, you literally just open a Google Chrome tab and it'll literally just pop up. You're consuming things that are not good for you if you're, again, not mindful about it and not in a mindset to be able to consume those things. And when I started learning about more stuff like dopamine detoxing, removing myself from social media, like to have time to reflect for myself, what my values are without the influence of other people, not judging myself based on what others might think of me, and just being myself, quitting social media gave me a lot of freedom. It's kind of ironic, right? Because I like making videos. So in a way, I need to be using social media, but in a way that's like, if I use YouTube or something, it's nowadays, it's usually to listen to music or to like study. And maybe once in a while, I'll like see something but it's a lot more control. And that was after I reflected on myself, how I could like use it in a healthy way. I'm still working on it. Obviously, it's not like completely perfect, but I've gone very far, I'd say, with how much progress I've been able to make. Very separating myself from social media and like not connecting myself with the things that I see online and stuff. So when I decided to quit social media 2020, like when quarantine started and stuff, it was in January 2020 that I was like, okay, I don't want to use Instagram anymore. I don't want to use YouTube like mindlessly anymore. I want to be able to like truly separate myself from everything and just be able to form my own personality, if that makes sense, form my own values, form my own way of thinking, form my own identity. Quitting social media, can't stress this enough, has given me so much freedom. I was using my phones like 10 hours a day, like for weeks. Like when I was like at my worst in that aspect of like using social media a lot, I did use my phone in terms of like, you know, texting and whatever, but it wasn't in like a super extended period amount of time. Until a little later when I literally went like monk mode for 2 months and didn't do anything, didn't use my phone at all. 2 months of complete nothingness. But that's for another video. Really opened myself up to like loving myself. I wasn't being influenced by these other people, by just how perfect everyone was seeing. I was being influenced by my own thoughts and me, myself only. A lot of my insecurities started going away. And because I wasn't comparing myself constantly with other people, that really made me understand that I don't need to be this prodigy, this perfect person. It was then that I truly understood it's okay to be not perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. Social media really takes away what being human is. And that's being flawed. If someone says that they don't have flaws, or if you ask them like, what would you improve about yourself? And they say, oh, I would improve nothing. That person is wrong. No matter how perfect people might seem in like the surface level, through a screen, all of us are flawed on a fundamental level. And I realized that because I was free from all this judgment, all these ideals from other people, all these influences. Put it simply, it's made me so much happier. I was able to find something that would replace the dopamine that I was getting from using social media with something that I actually truly like doing, which is creating stuff, mainly videos, of course. It's just a great experience. Step away from like social media and the world in general for a period amount of time and truly ask yourself the important questions, like what is it that you value, like truly? If nobody was influencing you, what would you be doing? If nobody would be able to judge you in any way, how would you act? How would you identify as a human being if nobody was influencing you? Quitting social media really helped me find the answer to a lot of those questions. Now coming to an end to this video, I really encourage you to try not using social media for an extended period of time. Of course, it's not going to be easy because a lot of people nowadays are super glued to their phones. It's creating a lot of mental health problems that are affecting a lot of people in a very negative way. And it pains me that a lot of people think that it's normal to be glued to their phone because just, oh, everyone's doing it, right? Like I said earlier, just because it's normal doesn't mean that it's good. But my recommendation to you, if you're wanting to try like not using social media, you need to like give it time because your brain is already like used to grabbing your phone when you wake up, for example, or grabbing your phone every 5 minutes. Your brain is used to that. It's a habit. I'm not an expert on the field or anything, but it's said that 21 days is what it takes to build a habit. What I would do if I was like super addicted to my phone. Ideally, if you want to get results, go for a month. Trust me, you're not gonna be missing out on anything, dude. This is coming from someone who is really just a full-fledged internet person. You're not missing much if you don't use social media for a month. The most that's gonna happen is it's like, oh my god, your absolute dream collab or your favorite show was like announced or something like that. That's the most that you're gonna miss. And guess what? When you come back from your detox, you're gonna see it anyways. I hope you got something out of this video because, again, I really think that this needs to be put out there. As someone, again, who was very depressed in the past, had a lot of insecurities, I think I've recovered a lot from those feelings, that mindset, and I want to share my experiences to how I got better and stuff because it might help you.